noon, my thought is to do videos at noon on the YouTube, so that anybody can tune in and watch them. And I don't feel like I can do political stuff on Facebook anymore, so hola. Yesterday we talked about some candidates in North Carolina, and today we're going to talk a little bit more about candidates in North Carolina, and we're going to talk about school safety, which I think is on everybody's mind since what happened in Georgia yesterday. And we still really don't know what all the details are, but we're waiting and listening. But I do think it's important to talk about school safety and listening to candidates say what they would do. So we have a woman in North Carolina. Her name's Michelle Morrow. She used to be a nurse. She's never had children in North Carolina public schools. She and her husband and their 5 children lived at like a remote Christian camp in the San Juan Mountains in Colorado before they moved to Cary. So that's a very interesting background, far from being an educator or having a degree in law like Mo Green does, working for the Reynolds Foundation and being a superintendent of Guilford County Schools. So Michelle Morrow has decided that she's going to be kind of a Steve Bannon type, and she's going to run for this position that is in charge of 1.4 million students. 30% of your state budget, if you're in North Carolina and pay taxes, would go under her control. Now, what's really interesting about her is that she's even Catherine Truitt, who was the state superintendent and is the state superintendent now and is a Republican. Here's what she said about Michelle Morrow, who beat her in the primary, which was shocking because she had raised no money. She said, someone who has never participated in the public school system has no business wanting to run public education in our state. Way to go, Truitt, for saying that. She said this is really amazing. I'd like to see a constitutional amendment to get rid of the State Board of Education. If the superintendent is elected and works under the legislature, knowing that they're accountable to the legislature to oversee the DPI, that's like me saying the Walmart, and to oversee and have impact in the superintendents in the 115 districts, I think we would be so much better off because you don't have all these extra people, right, in the mix. A constitutional amendment to get rid of the State Board of Education. What you talking about, Willis? People, if you are voting in North Carolina, do you want anarchy? Morrow also promoted QAnon slogans. She tweeted, you can't make this crap up. She tweeted that actor Jim Carrey was, quote, likely searching for adrenochrome. Do you know what that's in reference to? That's in reference to this conspiracy theory that QAnon believers think that celebrities harvest and drink the blood of children to prolong their own lives. Media Matters brought that out. Like, seriously. Gotta let the dog out. This is not good. Not good at all. She also calls the U.S. public school system a, quote, taxpayer-funded socialist indoctrination machine, and accuses the state's public schools of, quote, teaching children to hate our country. All of you know a public school teacher. I would feel sure. I bet I know 100. Tell them that the state superintendent candidate says that they are teaching children to hate our country, and see what they think about that. The other thing she thinks is that they should be able to have, teachers should be able to carry their guns in the classroom. That's not good. So she and Mark Robinson, who wants to run for governor, who's equally nutso, both of them agree. Well, they agree on a lot of things, but one thing they really agree on is that they don't want any more federal dollars. They don't want 1.67 billion a year in North Carolina. And when they were asked, well, what would you do to make up the difference of the 1.67 billion? They don't know. Do you realize what's happening? People just espouse this crap in hopes that the nuts will vote. Seriously. Morrow says if she's elected, one of her first moves will be to audit the North Carolina Department of Public Instruction's federally funded programs to see if they contribute to student achievement. If she determines that they don't, she, the nurse and homeschooler and Colorado camp liver prior to Carrie, says she'll tell the government, federal government, to, quote, back off because, quote, we don't need your money and we're going to just do it as a state. It is scary. So let me tell you what that $1.67 billion goes for. If you're one of the few people that's living down in a cavern somewhere under your mother's house, and you're thinking, well, I don't want the federal money either. Well, one, have a child with a disability, because $380 million comes to North Carolina to serve children like my son. What would we do without that $380 million? We would have less teachers. We wouldn't have speech therapists, occupational therapists, physical therapists. $531 million goes to school nutrition programs. We're not going to feed anybody anymore because that'll be good. It'll be good to have children at school with no food. $43 million for career and technical education. Now, what's funny about this is that Michelle Morrow is a big fan of career education. But I don't understand why people don't understand A plus B equals C. $33 million funds other programs, including substance abuse and mental health care. I guess we don't need that either. So what Michelle Morrow says in order to make our schools safe, she thinks that we should put cameras in school bathrooms. Michelle Morrow thinks a way to prevent guns in schools is to put cameras in school bathrooms. You can't make this mess up. She also thinks, this is funny, there should be an immediate expulsion for the remainder of the year for any violations. Well, guess what? There already is. If you take a weapon to school, you have 365-day suspension. So she doesn't even know what the law is. And she's going to make that change, even though it already happened. She wants. Again, Catherine Truitt, Republican state superintendent, said, someone who has never participated in the public school system has no business wanting to run public education in our state. Ding, 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 ding-a-ling-ding. Let's see what else. She called teachers groomers. That's nice. Said that schools are pushing a godless agenda, training children in transgender theory. And my particular favorite, because it affects me, is the way she talks about children with disabilities. I believe in healthy competition. Special ed students are never going to be able to compete. So she wants to bring special education back, which evidently she thinks is isolating. Like if you're a problem in the classroom, you shouldn't have access to the classroom. But that's against federal law. So I guess that's why she doesn't want the $300 million. So if she gets in charge, then Amos is going to be like, I don't know, in a broom closet. She also said, I love when someone thinks they're smarter than everyone in the room. I also think it's beneficial that we understand that children who are very limited in potentially their ability to understand a lot of higher level concepts, that we really focus on teaching them life skills. Okay. Michelle Morrow, I challenge you to diagram that sentence all by yourself. For instance, I have 2 cousins who were mentally retarded by definition. Is my eye twitching? I feel like my eye's twitching. State superintendent, 100,000 children with disabilities in the state, over 100,000. And she's going to say that they're not able to compete and just throw them off as mentally retarded. The last time anybody used the term mentally retarded was a doctor with me years ago. And I promise you, he ain't never saying that again. No. So use your brains, people. Mo Green. Mo Green is the man. Vote yes for Mo and no to Morrow. Yes, Mo, no Morrow. No tomorrow. No Morrow, tomorrow. No Morrow. He's awesome. He is going to be in Edenton next Wednesday. Very excited, having a meet and greet for him at my house. And it's going to be fun. And this is not a fundraiser. This is just a chance for people to see who they're voting for and to talk to them. My goal always is to share truthful information in quotes so that you can know exactly what you're getting into. I think sometimes it's very easy, and we know that people are following rhetoric. Liberal, there are all these words that are like progressive indoctrination, socialism. And those words people tend to latch onto, but research yourself. Do your research. Is Michelle Morrow, is that what you want? Look at Mark Robinson, who wants to be governor. If these two were together, you might as well be like Brad Pitt and move on to, where did he move to? Somewhere. Yeah, woke. I mean, people love the word woke. Woke is used to convince you of something. When Fox News talks about you and you're a Republican, and then you better watch out. Seriously. Carry on, people. Vote Mo Green.